Full and uncut versions available on Patreon. Check in the description below.
Greetings once again, pirates on the high seas. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with more of One Piece, where previously we had the God Valley incident, where the celestial dragons had taken over an island nation in order to hunt the native inhabitants as well as several slaves, which included a young Bartholomew Kuma. But thanks to meeting up with Emporio Ivankov as well as Ginny, Ginny was able to leak the information about God Valley out to the world, intercepted by Roger pirates and the Rocks pirate, causing them to invade in order to obtain something. This also brought Garp in tow. This provided a distraction so that Kuma and Ivankov could steal the fish fruit model Azure Dragon, that's still funny, and the pawpaw fruit. Though Ivankov, as we know, was not destined to eat the dragon fruit, as Lin, Big Mom, as she would become to be known, and was able to steal it from him. But Kuma got away with the pawpaw fruit, saving 500 slaves in the process. Although, that's not a lot of the people who were present, but it's a very decent amount. Decent for one person who only just gained that ability. Having finally returned to the Sorbet Kingdom, where he was born, Kuma set up shop with Ginny in his parents' old church, as Ivankov set out into the world. Ginny and Kuma ready to actually enjoy life, despite having spent so much of their childhood as slaves. What'll happen next? Join me as I find out, won't you? A fleeting moment of happiness. Kumachi and Ginny, or Ginny, I guess. Sorbet Kingdom, South Blue. 8 years after the God Valley incident. Oh man. Almost enough time to forget about it all. A young Bartholomew Kuma, extracting the pain of the elderly. It's also nice that he actually gets to interact with people who actually knew his parents, and nobody even knows what happened to them. I mean, just think, a place where people that you know, your neighbors and such, are just suddenly snatched up off the street without warning? I mean, could you imagine that happening in this world? In this day and age, that would never happen, right? I'm sure your parents are happy somewhere. Bartholomew Kuma, age 17, pastor. You remove any kind of pain. Yeah. Miracle hands. Hands of liberation. Hands of miracles. Bartholomew Kuma doing everything he can to help anyone, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. Oh, they want more often, but Sundays only. Because the mean Ginny. She went from a very playful attitude to a very... The angrier side of her has kind of taken over more. But there's more of a reason for that. Yeah, the old people are just kind of hanging out here. Bad mouth, but she's pretty. Actually, who is the voice of Ginny? Did I already look that up? It sounds familiar, but sometimes voices will seem familiar and then it'd be like, no, I've never heard of. Oh no, I was about to say she was Excel in Excel Saga, but she's, I think, only Excel for the opening song. Gatekeepers, I remember that somewhat. Love Hina, Be an Angel, Ikitosen, Peacemaker Kuragane. She was Bokun in Sonic X. Ah, nice. Nawaki and Naruto. Nothing that really stands out. Shakugan no Shana, kind of remember that. Black Star and Soul, okay, Soul Eater, yeah, okay, yeah. That one would be the one that really stands out. That explains the personality. Blue Exorcist, JaeJah's Bizarre Adventure, yeah. Black Star would be the one that I actually would solidly remember, and I could see it. I can see those two personalities overlapping, at least in terms of the angrier nature. Playing matchmaking. Get out, you old codgers. It's nice to be sweet to the elderly. Yeah, they're already being taxed so much by the heavenly tribute. And a new king. King Bekore. Cold and heartless. Lock you up no matter what. Jailing an old person because they got ill and having them starve to death. I mean, could you imagine a leader in this day and age actually allowing the old and sick to go by without getting food or medical treatment just because they couldn't pay, despite the fact that, I mean, you would think food and medical treatment would be a right to any civilized people, you would think. I mean, could you imagine in this day and age? Could you imagine? Sucks up to the celestial dragons. It goes a lot deeper than them just wanting to be treated just so they can feel better. No, this is kind of life or death, because our ruler doesn't care if you get old, if you're sick, or if you're old. If you can't pay, you're locked away and literally left to die. To be sick is to die. Yeah, that's come every week. And Ginny can't say no to all this. This is all we can give you. Literally spent all day there. But why is it that he can only do this so often? That is literally as big as the bubble that he extracted from Luffy on Thriller Bark. And given Kuma's size and relative to Zoro, and granted, it's simply the aches and pain of the elderly, but that pain has to go somewhere. God. Jesus. And Ginny just listens to it. She's the only one who knows that he has to accept all that suffering into himself, and to do it every week too. And it's biggest allegory for Jesus possible in this series, literally accepting the aches, the pains, the suffering of the old and weak. And who knows what else these people are suffering from that they have no knowledge of. Just wants to see everyone happy. I'll train harder to become strong. Yeah, that's really not the issue here, buddy. Hey, they gave us some food. Yep, that side of Ginny that loves food has not changed. Can we go somewhere? On a date? The salmon run by the river? Time rolled on. Kuma was 22. 25 years ago. I really find myself wanting to know more about these news coups thing. Like, how did Morgan establish himself in the news coup situation at that too? I don't know. As I learn more about the One Piece series, I find myself kind of questioning just if maybe Morgan's had more of an ulterior motive for setting up the whole news coup thing. Is there maybe something deeper to it? I wonder. I love the soft guitar music playing in the background too. Want some coffee? I love that. It's so teeny tiny. God, you're really making this as idyllic as possible. Let's get married. Said without hesitation. Honestly, the life that they're living right now, they might as well be. And if they cared that much for each other, but no. No, you love me. He just grabs him by the shirt. Yeah, because that's some of his earliest memories. Now, the relationship between his father and mother ended up with not just the enslavement of his father, but his mother and him as well. The death of his mother. Kuma. You guys are already ex-slaves. Ginny would be taken in no matter what. I get it, though. I get it, but it's one of those... I wish you had seized the day when you had the opportunity, man. Immediately changes the subject. You gotta love that. That's one of the immediate things. It's like incited protest. Not riots, protest. You know, maybe there's something to a lot of places that are kind of in a bit of a revolt against their government, waving around the straw hat banner here and there. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to get too political with this, but I'm just saying there might be something to that. Admiring dragon has to save as many people as possible. Like Nika, the warrior of liberation. And all that time, Ginny didn't say a word. Yes, the other guys they got to meet. Yeah. He's mad at you, huh? I feel that deep down she understood that it wasn't that Kuma didn't care, it's that he was definitely holding on to something. And, with as much as Ginny cared about him, I know she could tell. It was more of a thing of hoping that maybe she could get through to him one day. But you never know. Tomorrow is never promised. 22 years ago, a major incident. Just think about that. Imprisoning the elderly. No. See, that's the perfect time to revolt, because for the crime of getting too old to work, what? Oh, he was already on the scene, and he's already wearing his little hat. Age 25. Who is this big loser? Man, to look at someone his size and to be like, who the heck is this guy? What a loser. It's like, buddy. And yeah, real tough. Roughing up old people. The laws have changed. Free to use people from the South however they want. Enslaving the elderly. Oh man. See, I didn't realize it went that far. Oh, I didn't remember at least, because I've read the manga, but man, work them until they die. Yeah, all too familiar. Oh, dang. And hey, he said it. He's been training. And I never realized it before. But the thing about Kuma is he doesn't touch people. Kuma is a pacifist. So when he strikes, he doesn't actually physically damage. He himself does not touch you to damage you. He strikes the air, and boom, 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 he blows you back. Yes, you might get injured and all that, but he's not technically touching you in order to injure you. So I feel like there's something deeper to that. There's a study there about how Kuma attacks and what that means to someone like Kuma, who is by all means a pacifist. It just... there's layers to that, you know? I feel like there's something really deeper to that. Rebels. Now putting them to death. The Ursa shock. That's the kind of destructive power you'd see from Whitebeard. People are swayed by labels. Yeah. He would believe that. And soon they'll look down on the South. See, I love that even some of the guards are like, Your Majesty, are you... I don't mean to step out of line, but are you sure about this? Not everybody's immediately on board with it. And that's the thing. Eventually, the soldiers will go along with it, and the people who feel strongly or voice too loudly, they'll be executed. It's as simple as that. In a lot of situations, your morality can be swayed when too many people go along with it. But having more and more people voice their dissatisfaction with it, and as a soldier, you're trained to obey your higher-ups, the rule of law, your leaders and stuff like that. There's a breaking point for everyone. It's just that soldiers, with the way that they're trained, they're not always immediately going to break away that easily. And if they were, they wouldn't be soldiers. See, this was a good way of informing us about how the Heavenly Tribute works. It's all about population and all that. By cutting off the South, he's able to... That also shows the mindset when it came to the Grey Terminal as well. Why they were so quick to destroy the trash-laden places. Because by ostracizing the less... What's the word I'm looking for? The less... There's a word there that it's not connecting in my mind. The less wanted people, by completely cutting them off and viewing them as less than people, you're able to save on money. It's very pragmatic, but in the worst kinds of ways. Honestly speaking, I would love to know how they managed to catch Kuma. As strong as he was. But then again, at this point, Kuma had never really actually fought people, so battle skill and power are two different things sometimes. What are you guys doing here? We even get to see how it happened too. We went storming in too. I love how they just laugh it off. It's just like, oh no, we just started beating up the soldiers trying to get your back. You don't see Kuma acting this strongly about too many things. But slavery, shockingly enough, slavery is where he draws the line. Can you believe it? Yeah, discrimination. He's just a puppet of celestial dragons. To rebel against the decree of this country is to rebel against the world government. Speaking of rebellion, Your Majesty, you better run. Just that simple. Celestial dragon wannabe. I recognize that hair anywhere. Yeah, I love that as soon as that policy went in place, it's just like, it wasn't just a few select people who got wind of that, and we're just like, no, it's like, no, there were others who were just like, yeah, no, we're not letting that fly. Your favorite guy created a scene. Honestly, you know what? What I said about Kuma, I wonder if that applies to Dragon as well. Because we've never actually seen Dragon fight either. But then again, the first time we saw Shanks actually go at someone, it was pretty decisive, so it's hard to say because we haven't really seen Dragon in an actual 1v1. And shoot, the first time we actually solidly saw Shanks fight someone, well, technically that was Whitebeard, but realistically it was Kid? That wasn't even really a fight either. Long time no see. But I don't think you'd forget that head. Monkey D. Dragon. Although people don't know him as Monkey D. That's changed the world together. And yeah, after seeing everything that went down here, freedom fighters taking up arms in response to the tragedy of O'Hara, which we also saw in this same story arc. We saw how that ignited this. Like the connections to everything through Dragon, through Kuma, through Bonnie, it just so many things all just connect. I love how Oda weaves his story. Like, say what you will about how long the story has lasted, but the way that he manages to weave the story, just so many things just connecting in such interesting places. The twin pillars of Dragon and Ivanko, essentially his wings, as it were, like Zoro and Sanji are to Luffy. The Revolutionary Army. Not enough money though. Helping those who aspire to overthrow their king. There'll be a huge army spread across the world. How do you know how to use a weapon? I spent a short time in the Navy. That is the most information we've gotten on Dragon in this series to date. Like, outside of him being Luffy's father. But at the same time, it's just like, well, yeah, no shit he was in the Navy. His dad was Garp. Couldn't find any justice there. And I love the understanding of the revolutionaries. They're just like, look, at the end of the day, the Navy does want to help people. A lot of these people who joined, they didn't just join for perks, though I'm pretty sure there are several in there who did join for the pageantry and the look of the Navy and all that. But there are plenty like Kobe, who we know, who joined to help people in the end, who saw injustices and wanted to do something about it. But when you have leaders who do shady things in the background, and you're only told to grit your teeth and bear it, or to move up the ranks to change it, it doesn't always go that way. I'm with you to the end, Dragon. You won't regret it. So about that, and he still returns to the church. And he's finally got his glasses on. But I mean, he doesn't have to constantly take care of the elderly like he did before, because, a lot of those decisions have been rescinded. And he wants to make sure everybody cares about his, 8 more years passed. 14 years ago in a certain kingdom, Ginny, captain of the Revolutionary Army Eastern Forces. Tomorrow, she'll meet with Kuma. See, that's the thing that gets me too. Who was it who came after Ginny? We see a figure move in, but who was it? Ginny's been abducted. Remember, you won't regret it, Kuma. You won't regret it. It's the sad part about standing up for a cause that this series really doesn't sugarcoat. Because it's like, no, if you stand up for a cause, yes, it is great to stand up against those who wish to oppress and subjugate you. But at the same time, you also, the reality is, to stand up is to also have a target on your back. Yes, the people around you and you yourself might be treated like garbage, but to stand up and be labeled as a revolutionary, an insurrectionist, or whatever buzzword they want to put on you, despite the fact that you do so with good intention and a will to help other people, that can still put a target on your back. That could mark you for death. That can mark you for abduction. That can mark you for imprisonment. That can mark you for any number of terrible things the people who are after you could want for you. And there are people who will just see you as what you are labeled as. Someone who needs to be taken down. A dangerous criminal. despite the fact that you didn't do what you did out of malice or ill intent. Man, shit, One Piece really knows how to get to the heart of the reality of our world. Not saying it's the only way to get to know about our world, but it is definitely a gateway into the wrongs of the world that we live in today, in the past, present, and in the future. Because, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. That's why things from history are also incorporated into fiction. Because, look on the One Piece wiki. A myriad of incidents and certain characters are tied to actual historical figures. And some of those figures were involved in revolution, were involved in government, were involved in atrocities throughout the world. There's a myriad of things that can be opened to your eyes with just a little bit more understanding. So I say, find your favorite YouTuber, or find some videos on the subject matter, and take a peek. Find out about your favorite fictional character. They might be a reference to something that goes a lot deeper than you could ever think. But that's enough of that. I only talk about the subject matter because it is relevant to what is being viewed within this episode. But let me know your thought in the comment section below. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Check out the Patreon. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. But then take care. Bye-bye.